Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. In this video, we'll start with a post from the subreddit Relationships with an update. Then we have a screaming crazy bridezilla, and we're gonna finish up with some malicious compliance. So if you want to go ahead and navigate through different parts of the video, you can always use the timestamps right below it. Now let's get started with the first story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Darnell the Bear. My 18 male girlfriend, 20 female of 6 months found out how much I make in a month. Now she expects me to spoil her regularly. Okay Reddit, lately I've been making pretty solid money at my job, and business has been booming in the area I oversee. I work my ass off every day from 9 to 5, laboring in the scalding western sun. My girlfriend is unemployed, but hasn't looked for a job since before we were even dating. I've addressed that issue with her many times, but she always shoots me down and plays the victim. Now, I do mobile banking with a relatively small bank in my city. All my expenses and gains are listed in the app, so it's all I use. The thing is, when you open the app, it requires you to enter your password before you can do anything. Cut to last week. I had just got to my apartment on payday after work. She came over and we were talking about our days when I decided to check my bank account. She must have been looking over my shoulder and saw my password before I got into the shower, opened my phone without me giving her permission, and looked at my expenses. When I got out of the shower, she was furious. She went on a rant about how I never treat her or care for her. Both exaggerations, considering I take her out every week and buy her gifts regularly, and how I need to clean up my act if we are to stay together because I make too much to not treat her like a damn queen. The ridiculousness struck me so hard I can repeat that statement verbatim. She has never acted like this towards me, so I got very upset. We argued for a while, and after a few hours, she stormed out of my apartment. I'm on my last leg here. My mind is telling me to leave, but she's genuinely nice and caring, something I've never really had in a relationship before. Help me, Reddit. Well, OP, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is bad. This is a big ass red flag that is screaming deal breaker. Here's what I see. She violated your privacy and abused your trust by using your phone to get into your bank account without permission. And then with that information, she gets angry at you and starts telling you that you need to clean up your act because you make too much money to not treat her like a queen? I'm sorry, what? OP, the first thing I would do is change my passwords, maybe get a phone that has face recognition and all of the two-factor authentications that I could get on my bank accounts and really protect that stuff. Second thing would be to assess my relationship and see if I really want to stay in it. Like I said, personally, this would be a deal breaker for me. What about you guys? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. Teresa JS says, dump her. She broke into your access to your bank account. She then used the information she saw there to make claims against your income, and she doesn't work at all. Change your password and dump your girlfriend. Someone like this is not the kind of person you want to be with long term. Shelf Life Inc. says, quote, but she's genuinely nice and caring, end quote. I just laughed out loud. You take her out every week and buy her gifts. Has she ever taken you out? Has she ever bought you a gift? My boyfriend used to make twice as much as I did, but I would still make the effort to take him out for dinner once in a while. You work really hard. She doesn't have a job, apparently has no interest in finding one, and plays the victim when you bring it up. Then she logged into your phone without your permission and looked at your expenses, and now she's angry at you? She does not deserve to be treated as a queen. She does not even deserve to be your girlfriend. You absolutely need to dump this girl on her ass. If she wants a walking ATM, she can find someone else. Or, get a damn job herself. Have enough self-respect to not date someone who takes everything you give them and says, it's not enough, I want more. Melox Drama says she won't get a job and expects you to pay for her while she's unemployed. And on top of that, she expects you to go the extra mile and spoil her even more than you usually do. See, I've been in this situation with my partner, but my god, if he'd had that attitude, he would not still be around. It's normal for her to be frustrated she can't have things, if she's actually looking for employment. It's normal for you to want your partner to support you, if you cannot do it yourself and are actively trying to change that and appreciate what they are doing for you. She went behind your back to check how much money you were hiding from her, then had a tantrum because you're not spending all of your hard-earned money on her. Probably time for the where are the priorities in this relationship talk, if you even want to, with her attitude and entitlement to your hard-earned money. It's not your fault that she made your relationship about money, so don't let her play that card. You took care of her and spoiled her. She is the one getting upset about money. She is the one refusing to get a job and expecting you to basically pay her for being in a relationship with you. Stop letting her claim to be a victim of the issue she is creating herself. I wish you the best, man. You are meant to be her partner, not her ATM. Well, the community is definitely in agreement that OP needs to end this relationship and get out of there as fast as he can. So now it's time for us to move on to the update and see what OP ended up doing. Before I start this, just let me say how thankful I am to everyone that commented. I read everything when I had time, and the advice really helped me with the decisions that followed. Last night, I did a lot of thinking, played a lot of Overwatch, and read a lot of comments. One thing that stood out to me most was to change my passwords, so I did immediately. After that, around 9 PM, I packed up everything she's left at my place, enough to fill a medium box. And everything she's ever given me, one plushy elephant. I wasn't bitter or anything, I just knew that enough was enough and she isn't who she was when we first started hanging out. I drove to her house and we talked before I gave her the box. She was very insistent that how she was acting is acceptable and that things are going to change between us if we were to stay together. I said I'd rather not, went to my car and brought her the box. I told her she could keep everything I've given her, and I left. Last night, my phone exploded with texts from all of her friends. They called me names, said I wasn't a man, and just generally harassed me. I didn't respond to any of the texts, and instead just went to bed early. Work today was a breeze. All my co-workers were very nice and helpful. A girl I've had a little crush on even took me to lunch. Tacos, hell yeah. Overall, today was pretty solid. She's been calling and texting still, mainly just berating me. You're not man enough for me anyway, I never really loved you. And honestly, I'm glad she did that, because it made getting over her a much easier process. When I got home just a little while ago, she was at my apartment. She was crying and asking me to take her back, saying she was sorry for the things she said and it would never happen again. Now, normally, I'm kind of a pushover. I was probably hugged too much as a kid, shout out to my parents. But in this instance, I stood up for myself and told her what she did was wrong and immoral, and that she should just leave. She went into anger mode again and started screaming at me. I told her to get the F off my porch before I called the complex's security, and she left pretty quickly after that. The only real problem I have with any of this is how little I care about it. Instead, I feel very relieved that she's gone and I don't have to deal with her anymore. I guess my family felt the same, because when I told them, the collective response was, "Oh, thank God." The kicker for me in all of this is a pretty hopeful one. Me and the aforementioned girl from work have had each other's numbers for quite a while now, and we only use them for work reasons. When I went inside my apartment after telling my ex off, I saw that I got a text from her. The full message said, "Hey, I know this might be a little forward, but do you want to hang out this weekend?" I responded with a resounding hell yes, and we made a plan for it. She wants to take me out for dinner and then go back to her house and watch some Netflix. Reddit, I'm being taken on a mother effing date. This has never happened to me before, and advice on that situation would be much appreciated. Do I put out? Well, it'll be good for you. 1, for getting out of that relationship, and 2, from changing all of your passwords. Now, regarding your date, I would say have fun and enjoy it. Personally, I don't think I'd go out on a date right away, but I'm not you. So, you do you, man. Take care, OP. And now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Wedding Shaming, and it's by user CompleteH13. Bridezilla kicks out maid of honor, sister, and tells everyone to F off. This girl I've known for 15 years now, let's call her C, is getting married in October. She already, as a person, isn't the nicest girl. She's very selfish and just an all-around negative person, but she's been in my and my fiance's life for years now, so we pretty much just accept her for who she is. Last year, C was livid at her sister L, who mentioned she was pregnant. C told L she's disgusting and that she should be the one getting pregnant first as she's the oldest sister. C then went on a rampage and told anyone in her family that if they were pregnant on and around her wedding date, that they were selfish people. Fast forward to this year. So C asked L to be her maid of honor. By auditioning for it, might I add. She made her do ridiculous tasks for her engagement party and had to answer a series of questions about how she would react given certain situations, etc. She also had to provide a copy of her speech to see if it was up to par. Mind you, this is like a year out, and her speech had to be perfect. She made her change things in there too and add how she's the best sister ever, etc. Anyway, Elle planned an entire bachelorette weekend, added the bridesmaids and her closest friends and family in the chat to see if everyone was comfortable with a weekend away at a cottage due to it still being high peak COVID. Not many people were comfortable, so Elle asked the bridesmaids for input on what they should do. They suggested a day activity somewhere. One of C's sister-in-laws, B, who isn't a bridesmaid, suggested her house as it has a killer backyard for a party. The bridesmaids jumped on that, thanked her, and Elle went full planning ahead for August. C got wind of this through her bridesmaids and went to Elle's house and started asking her why this was being done in August when the wedding was in October. Elle responded, because B works full-time as of September, so since we're using her house, we decided August would be perfect weather and perfect timing. C started getting riled up and upset, stating that Elle wasn't considering what she and her bridesmaids wanted. Elle said the bridesmaids never disagreed. Anyways, back and forth of BS ended with C lashing out at Elle, screaming in her face, calling her a bitch, selfish, etc. Elle asked C to leave and told her she will not be her maid of honor and her bridesmaids can plan the bachelorette of her dreams. C then decides to create a group chat with all the girls, planning and invited to this bachelorette minus Elle, and started laying it into everyone. She was saying we're all the cause of her drama with her sister and that we don't care what she wants or what she envisioned for her bachelorette. This left everyone confused as no one had any idea why she was so angry. Back and forth messages ending with B telling everyone her house is off the table and to figure it out. Now C has been crying and messaging everyone asking why we haven't apologized to her and asking what we plan on doing for her bachelorette. We told her to speak to her bridesmaids as we aren't planning anything, and she called us all C's and told us to go F ourselves. Fast forward 4 weeks after this drama, she wrote to her brother telling him that no one cares about her and her own sister hasn't spoken to her and that she expects apologies from everyone before they think of attending her wedding. I've never dealt with this level of crazy before. She was like this for her engagement too. She was really pissed when everyone around her got engaged before her. She'd say things like, "Oh, we've been together longer. I can't believe you got engaged first." She cried one day and said, "I just want a commitment and I'll be happy." Lo and behold, he proposed. She was happy, don't get me wrong, but then she made comments like, oh, he proposed at the top of a mountain on a hike, and I would have rather he proposed on a beach, but what can you do? She'll never be happy. After a thorough discussion, we decided not to attend, and RSVP'd so. I know some mothers are attending as they are family, but we are not. My future husband feels like crap about it though, as the groom is his childhood friend, but we cannot support her behavior. Also, my fiancé does not want to get involved with their relationship. Besides, we feel like if the groom doesn't already know by now how crazy his future wife is, there is no saving him, lol. Well, apparently this person isn't just a bridezilla, it's a humanzilla, because she's always like this. Wow! I just feel bad for the guy that's marrying her, but like OP says, if he doesn't know by now how crazy she is, well then there's no saving him. And on that note, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by username, and then a bunch of numbers. Eat Fresher. This one happened a few years ago when I worked in corporate for a large subchain that has currently seen better days. They had purchased a taco concept, and part of my job consisted of going around the country to help open up these new restaurants. Now, this subchain is not known for corporate luxuries, so I didn't bat an eye at the daily food expense allowance when traveling, which was $42 per day. Broken out by meal is breakfast $8, lunch $14, and dinner $20. So you couldn't even scrimp on breakfast and lunch to get yourself an alright meal. But okay, I usually stayed in hotels that had a complimentary breakfast buffet, and I often skipped lunch and worked straight through the day, so my expenses were regularly less than $20 per day. Now, the problem comes when during one of these trips, my dinner came out to be $20.05. Before a cash tip, mind you, that I paid out of my own pocket and didn't expense. I didn't think much of it because, hey, it's a nickel, and I didn't go over my daily spending allotment. Cut to the end of the month after submitting my expense report, I get a call from accounting that went like this. Side note, now comes a dialogue, so I'll be making up two voices instead of saying I said, they said all the time. I'm looking at your July expenses. How did you want to handle this? I did handle it. I submitted it. No, you went over on one of your dinners. Would you like to send the payment in or have it taken from your payroll? I'm sorry, what total are we talking about? You spent $20.05 on dinner XYZ, which is a 5-cent overcharge. Silence. Okay, so I owe 5 cents? Yes. You can take that out of my payroll, but please do it over the next 5 pay periods. I'd like to split up the payments for budgeting purposes. Are you serious? Are you? Following her true nature, she took a penny out of the next 5 checks, and I made a point of spending as close to $42 a day as humanely possible for every other trip I ever took with that company. Wow, talk about strict financial governance. Anyway, I've never read a malicious compliance story where one malicious compliance generated another one. Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing, and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.